Góðan daginn, welcome to the Project Pal. My name is Gunnhildur, I'm an Icelander, I live in Iceland, and this is my podcast, vlog, chat type of thing where I talk mainly about yarn, about knitting, crocheting, and anything fiber related because fiber is interesting and kind of makes life possible. I also talk quite a bit about the weather because the weather is very interesting and I am your stereotypical middle-aged Icelander who just likes to have something to talk about. I keep messing this intro up, but I do call this podcast the Project Pile because I have projects and they are in piles that I just keep adding to. But yeah, the weather is fantastic. Yesterday, Saturday, we actually finally, my part of Iceland, I live in I live in the eastern fjords of Iceland, and cannot be complaining about the weather because it has been so nice. And yesterday we actually got some rain, so the vegetation has been absolutely, they literally got a shot of vitamin. It's fantastic and I'm really happy about it because we haven't really had any rains to speak of for quite some weeks. I mean, the melting snow has been definitely helping the earth, but not really raining. Quite different from the western part of Iceland in the capital where they get a lot of rain and gloominess. Like, it's not been cold, but it's not. I can feel sorry for them. I can't. So this is an Icelandic thing. Basically, when you live outside of the capital and you like mention anything like about the like in the past. Okay, so okay, so I moved to the town where I live back in 2003, so I've been living here 20 years. And I do recall that the first couple of summers that we lived here were just fantastic. We really got a summer. But then we got like 6-7 summers that just were not summers. Like, I literally could count the sunny days, like summery sunny days, on the fingers of one hand, and I did not need to use all the fingers. And I recall anytime if I happen to mention that to someone from the capital, because at the same time excuse me, at the same time they had fantastic weather and were gloating. They had segments on the news just to show how, oh, the stores are closing because the weather is so nice. Meanwhile, we are not allowed to close stores here anywhere else in Iceland, and we are not showing the segments. We get rain and gloominess and like fog and all of that. And I'm nagging, I'm complaining, I'm reminiscing, but if you happen to mention that to anyone from the capital area, they would be like gloating and telling you, oh, but you choose to live there. And now, when we finally have, like last 2 summers, I believe, have been very nice. And it looks like this summer is gonna be real nice as well. I really hope so. I can't feel sorry for the people living in the capital area because of how they treated us. Like, I don't want to gloat. I'm even refraining from sending my sisters who live in that area. I don't send them pictures. Because I don't want to gloat, I don't want to rub it in. But at the same time, I cannot feel sorry for them. Just cannot. And that's why, when I mention the weather and how they in the south or in the western part are getting rain, I kind of get this grin on my face. It's an Icelandic thing. I'm sure other countries have this same things, like this town does this to this town, this area is like meh towards another area, and it's a cultural thing. So yeah, that's why I started grinning when I talk about the weather, because I'm like in your face. but it is surface deep. It doesn't go any further. It like barely touches the skin when we chat about the weather like that. Well, it's not quite a surface level segment segueing into what I like to talk more about. The jumper I've been working on, this gorgeous thing. You notice I have not started on the sleeves, and that's because I didn't touch this until knit night again. So this is my knit night project. I was going to like hurry up and finish this, and I'm like, I don't want to hurry up. This has been such a fun project. So I was really happy past Thursday on knit night when just showing up, having my forbidden Swiss mocha because it has cream in it and the cream has lactose, and I'm like, lactose intolerant. But it's not that much. I'm allowed. Shush. But the thing is that where I'm at is where I am doing these short runs. Like I said, I have never done short runs before, so I decided to do that on Knit Nights in case I needed some, help. Thankfully, did not need it. Probably should have asked for it, because then I would not need to pull back. In my defense, this is my first time doing this, okay? So, I figured out how to do the what do you call it? What do you call it in English? In Iceland it's called ventilika. It's basically when you're doing the short runs and you like take the first stitch unknitted, and then you like put the thread over, so you end up with like 2 pseudo stitches and all that. I forgot, or rather I didn't realize until this point that you're supposed to knit further to anchor what you are doing, because I was sitting there knitting like, what do you do at the end? Do you sew it up? I've never seen anyone sew it up. No. Again, in my defense, this is my first time doing a short run, so I will need to pull back, and you will notice that I haven't done it because I want to show you, because I'm actually kind of proud of it. I'm proud that I'm still learning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find one of my, see, this is what happens when you have a lot of yarn. You realize that you have a favorite yarn that you like to use. I'm at this stage. I have like I have this yarn that I still haven't used as it's supposed to. I'm gonna be using it to like crochet those pants. But I realized in that first like skein, it came out with a lot of loose, like a long length that wasn't attached to anything. So it's like an extra yarn is what I'm gonna think, how I'm gonna think about it. And I realized that it's really, really nice to use because it isn't like fuzzy or anything. It's soft enough, but it's also like strong, and it's so nice when you're putting it, putting the stitches on. And I do have a bit of it left. I need to figure out where I put that, because I want to I want to use that specific yarn. That one, not anyone, not any other yarn. To put in as a lifeline. So I'm gonna find that one because I want to use that one. And where am I? Where am I? I'm holding it and I lost it. There we are. A couple of stitches and I lose it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it somewhere down here so that I have this help for when I'm pulling back, so that it's like a little bit safer for me, a little bit smarter maybe as well. And yeah, then I'm gonna redo it and do it correctly, but also like it's just a soft yarn. It's this, it drops air. It's nice, it's soft, it doesn't have like the itchiness of wool. Love it. So obviously that did not take me the whole knit night to, you know, sit and stare and be like, what I did was I made the decision that clearly I do not quite have the brain cells to do that right at that moment. So what I did is I always have this crochet hook in my bag. Always have a crochet hook, because even though I'm not crocheting, if I drop a stitch, I can just fish it up again. This has been my mental health insurance. So this is a very nice, it's old one. I think I may have borrowed it from my mother. It's in Oxal. It's 3.5mm. It has this type of head. It's this lovely metallic bright blue. Again, I have no idea if this is something that I bought or if it's something that I borrowed from my mother. The coating of the blue is peeling off a little bit. I mean, I love this, so I'm using it. So what I decided to do is that because it's on knit nights, the owner of the coffee shop who hosts knit nights, I mentioned this before and I'm gonna keep on mentioning it. Last autumn he decided to very generously give us a 20% discount on knit nights for yarn, which has not helped me in working on my stash too well. But at the same time, I'm thinking, you know, I'm coming in there like weekly, and yes, I'm buying foods and drinks and that, but it is an independent yarn store as well, and as much as I like using up my, you know, the yarn that I've had for quite a while and all that, I also like buying new yarn from my yarn store. And it really helps that Sea is not the most expensive, considering that Sea is a tiny little business, right? But Sea manages to have cheaper prices on the same yarns as bigger corporations, bigger stores, chain stores. They price their yarn way higher than Sea does. So when it comes to yarn, I do try and buy from her if I need. And last Thursday, I am excusing myself, because I was in the mental space of I'm not doing this because I do not have the brain cells. So as I said, I got my trusty little crochet hook and picked up my phone. Cannot pick it up right now because I'm recharging it. Did not throw anything down. Great. And then I went over to my favorite supplier of free patterns, because I had already picked out 2 patterns for sun hats or summer hats, and one of them used 3.5mm crochet hook and cotton. I mean, the yarn that they had is Drops Cotton Light and didn't have that. She has, you know, Drops Air, Drops Kid Silk, and quite a few, like Drops Andes, which I really need to get my hands on some more, because I would really like to make more hats like that. Anyway, speaking of another hat, but she did have a basket of DMC. Oh, that's reflective. Baby cotton. And the thing about that basket was that it was a treasure hunt to try and find, because I needed 4 skeins. Because turns out this is 100% cotton, right? It says so on the label. The Cotton Light from Drops is 50% cotton and polyamide, I believe. But the yarn, the weight, the length and the size of recommended, what do you call it, the like knitting needles, crochet hook, all that matched with Cotton Light. So I'm like, win. I was originally gonna make it a white hat because it was white in the original pattern, and I'm like, you know, white hats, I'll always use it. But then I was like, found one skein of this gorgeous shade of pink, and I'm like, I'm in my pink period right now. Considering, you know, the bikini that I just made, this would go with it. But also like the two dresses that I'm gonna be making, the crochet dress and the knit dress, they are both pink. So I'm like, tones, it tones with. And luckily I managed to find 4 skeins of this shade, and I'm like, fantastic, because it was a treasure. And I got this far on Thursday. So where I'm at right now is I finished the basic part, as you can see. So the crown part is finished, and what I will be working on maybe tonight, who knows, it's gonna be really warm today, so we'll see what energy I have for being creative. But then you do the patterning, and again, I've never done this like feather motif. Everything is a first for me, but I'm really proud of what I managed to do, because even though I messed up, I didn't mess up, stop saying that, I made a discovery on how you do search rounds, but I was not in the frame of mind right then to put that newfound knowledge to work. Diplomatic. But yeah, I did manage to finish doing all this instead, and I'm really happy with it. Like, I think this hat is going to turn out really cute. It's going to really tone with the things that I like, the bikini, the 2 dresses that I will be making, and I just realized it will tone, I think it will tone nicely with my granny square cardigan. So fantastic. That is great. But also, like, I do have hats that I'm intending to use this summer, because when you're this pale, like I am borderline reflecting. Like, if I go outside in short sleeves and my legs bare, I'm generally worried for the drivers, because I am so reflective that I'm worried that they are just gonna be like getting extra sun in their eyes when I walk past. But like, look at this. I'm transparent. You can see my veins. Like, ugh. Well, not ugh. I like my skin color. But I'm hoping that I will manage to get a little color this summer. Hopefully, I will be able to, because people keep telling me to get some color, and I'm like, I am the color that I am. But actually, thinking about that, I was talking with one of the younger kids. I think she's like 15, 16. I was speaking with her Friday morning when I was doing the baking, and she was still getting into gear, you know. Because it's literally, this has been the first week where they're, you know, getting into the routine of showing up to work. So we were chatting a little bit, and I said to her that I'm so thankful that she does not grow up with tanning bed. The tanning bed mania that was in the 90s. It was insane. In my old hometown, which at the time was like 700-800 people. So technically that would make it a village and not a town. English, I know. But even in a town that small, there were so many tanning beds, you know, places. Off the top of my head, I can think of like 3 locations, and there were more. Every town had at least 1, if not 2, if not 3 tanning bed places. And you basically were not allowed to be this pale. You were supposed to be tanned. Everyone was supposed to be tan. If you were pale, you got bullied, basically. So I am so thankful that the younger generations are not being bullied for being pale. I may need to retract that. Because I'm pretty certain that people are still being told, oh, you're too pale. Like, I'm still being told that I'm too pale. But I've been working in a store for the past 20 years. And in the past 20 years, that means that when it's sunny outside, I tend to be inside. Because the sun generally comes out when I'm at work. And when I have a day off, it's either raining or overcast. And it's been like that for pretty much 20 years. And when it's been nice, I've had to stay inside because it's been too nice. Yeah. But yeah, that is another reason why I'm really excited about making this hat, and there's another one that I really want to make as well. But yeah, I do have like sun hats because this transparency is it's risky when it's too much sun, because I risk what do you call it in English? It's not sunburn, it's solstingur. Sunshock? No, that doesn't sound right. Solstingur. It's not exhaustion, it's the sun stabs you. I have no idea what's called in English. I'll probably remember later, but like in Icelandic it's called solstingur, which means sun stab. Literally meaning the sun stabs you. Because that's how it feels like. I'm not interested in experiencing that again. I did when I was a child. I do not remember it, but I do know that it's not comfortable. It's really, really not good. But yeah, so I've got sunscreen, quite a bit of it. I've got my hats, I've got nice coverage. So if it's gonna be, it's kind of funny, I've been talking about wanting to get some color, but then I'm talking about covering up. But it is, yeah, I feel conflicted because at the same time I wouldn't mind getting a little, a little bit of color, because, it's summer and I kind of want to show that it's warm. But at the same time, I really don't like when people tell me that I need to get a color, because it's none of their business. and it's conflicting. Like at one hand, I would, like I said, I wouldn't mind getting some color because I'm transparent. On the other hand, I kind of like being transparent, like being practically see-through. It's like I've gotten so used to it that the thought of being tan is like, doesn't sound like me. It just sounds like a completely different person. And I have no idea where I'm going with it. But yeah, the happy thing is that I made a discovery and I learned what you're supposed to do when you're doing short rounds. So I will need to put in a lifeline and do the thing that I dislike doing, and then continue with the hat. Because again, like with these patterns that are available, this is not complicated. This is so simple. It's just sitting down and doing it. So I'm kind of glad that I made this discovery, because then that it enabled me to make this discovery and find this color, which I probably, probably wouldn't have bought it out otherwise. Because the plan with those hats is that I am going to be making them out of yarn that I do already have. But I do not regret getting this because I love this shade of pink. It is gorgeous. I love it. It is so nice. And it will go with the things that I've either already made or I'm planning to make. So I think that's enough rambling from me. Now it's actually, I'm a little earlier than usual because I actually woke up before 7 this morning and I've been like, should I start now or later? So it's like 10:30. Usually I'm doing this around noon because that's when I've woken up and done the things that I'm planning to do. So my neighbors are definitely awake. I've heard them playing with the kids, and the kids actually having quite a bit of fun. And now they started with the music, so that's actually a nice place to stop right now because it's getting sunny and I kind of want to go out and read for a little bit. I'm all over the place. So thank you for staying with me this week and this week. Wait, I feel like I was going to talk about something. And I can't remember. It was something about the week. Can't remember. But, excuse me. I'm getting burpees. So anyway, thank you for sticking with me today. I will hopefully see you again next week. And, now this is gonna bug me. I feel like there was something I was gonna say about. Anyway, gonna stop now before I make myself like grey-haired from trying to remember something that I'm not remembering. But again, we'll hopefully see you again next weekend. And until then, take care. I hope life is as good to you as it possibly can be, and hopefully better, like lots better. And I will see you again next weekend. Okay? Until then, take care. See ya.